I honestly thought this way of thinking about the treatment of pain, by vets at least, was dead. But I've had too many comments on videos and conversations with pet parents over the last 18 years in my consultation room to kid myself any longer. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to fight for better care for your pet if your vet ever tells you something like they did to April, who left me this comment on a video about cruciate ligament injury. My vet said no pain meds. Took my Aussie in today, giving it about 3 weeks to see how she's doing before we talk surgery. Said if they had no pain, they would use it more and cause more damage instead of hopefully healing. And this is where things go rapidly downhill. The thought that keeping a pet in pain will help them heal faster by discouraging activity. Because, you know, look, there's no two ways about it. While this opinion was common many decades ago, before I qualified as a vet, this treatment of pain by neglect needs to become extinct, just like the dinosaurs. But let's break down why. The fact is that pain, it's detrimental in just so many ways. It causes slowed healing. Pain increases stress levels in the body, which actually slows down the healing process. And that in turn causes prolonged pain. Pain also increases the risk of post-operative infection. So if surgery becomes necessary later, being in pain and the resulting increase in that body stress we've just mentioned can actually increase the risk of infection. You just need to think of it the same way when you get really stressed out at work, or for whatever reason, you're more likely to come down with a cold or the flu. It's the same. Infection is more likely under stress due to pain, and this is something that's definitely relevant when talking about cruciate injury, as we were in the video where this comment came from, where infection, quite frankly, can be catastrophic. Pain also reduces intestinal motility. So pain, it affects your pet's gut health, it reduces intestinal activity, motility, that upsets the microbiome, and that has a massive impact on whole body health. Pain also alters gait. It alters the way your pet moves. So just like us, when a pet limps or is painful in any other part of their body, they change the way that their weight is distributed, how they move, how they sit, how they lie, and that can lead to further pain and injury in other parts of the body. So you just need to think how many people have back pain as a result of a hip problem or a knee problem, just because the way that they stand, the way they sit, the way they walk alters. And it's the same with our pets. It puts the whole body under a huge amount of strain. And ultimately, all of this, it impacts on the well-being of our pets in pain. It makes them grumpy, it makes them miserable, just generally unhappy. Their quality of life suffers. And that in turn leads to more problems, such as challenging behaviours. We've got fear, anxiety, stress, and they're really common. They're with all forms of pain, both acute short-term and chronic long-term, that's left untreated. An example of these problem behaviours is that more recently it's been discovered that actually many cases of older dogs who develop a noise phobia, so that could be thunderworks, could be fireworks or thunder, is actually a result of them being in chronic pain with something like arthritis. And these states can all result in destructive and aggressive behaviours. And ultimately, all of these things lead to the breakdown in the human-animal bond. You know, just think what all of these consequences leads to when it comes to the relationship we share with our pets. If they're grumpy, if they're not interacting with you as much, if they're developing challenging behaviours, then our whole relationship with them, with our pets, can break down. And why would we want to risk this happening with one of the most important relationships that we have in our lives? Well, maybe we would want that if there were actually benefits of pain, but what about the benefits? Well, as in this suggestion, it allows healing of an injury by a reduction in excessive mobility, and that is thought as being beneficial. And certainly a reduction in movement, a reduction in use, is beneficial for the recovery of numerous orthopedic injuries, of bone problems, joint injuries, and of surgeries. But newsflash here, as owners, we are in full control of how much exercise and activity our pet dogs and cats can do. We can absolutely limit their mobility to provide all of the benefits that leaving them in pain supposedly provides. We can confine them in a crate or a small room, make sure they have nothing to jump up onto. We can carry small dogs, we can use ramps and other environmental modifiers to reduce the stress and impact of whichever body part we're trying to protect. We can use leads and harnesses to keep any exercise at walking pace and stop your dog shooting off after that squirrel. We can even provide extra help just getting them up with certain lifting harnesses to help your bigger dog have a much easier life. And we can substitute the mental stimulation, and this is a big one. Whenever we're resting our pet, we can substitute the mental stimulation that exercise would normally provide through food puzzles, through new toys, for other forms of mental enrichment, sometimes just by spending a little bit more time with your pet. And then we can obviously treat their pain appropriately. And to do that, we want to use a multimodal approach. We want to tackle it from every possible angle to ensure that your pet is as comfortable as possible. Now, depending on the problem here, I'm talking about nutrition, weight management, exercise, physical rehabilitation therapies, supplements, complementary therapies like the use of ice and heat, painkillers, of course, and even surgery. You know, we've just got so many tools available to us if we only choose to use them. But the big challenge with the treatment of pain, and by far the biggest mistake that I see pet parents make when it comes to pain, is actually recognizing it in the first place. And these videos discuss the signs of pain in dogs and cats so that you can be certain that your pet really is as comfortable as you believe they are and you want them to be. So tap on one of those videos. I'll see you there. But until then, I'm veterinarian Dr. Alex. This is Our Pet's Health, because they're family.